Morning folks, how you doing? Just trying to add some more content here, keep the value coming for you. I'm out here in the Penrith area today doing a bushwalk in Waiata Regional Park. Just going to meet some environmental practitioners, ecologists, and do a bit of a Cumberland Plain walk at 9 o'clock this morning. It's late October 2025. Got a beautiful cool day here today. It's almost chilly, which is good. I've just been in tropical North Queensland for 5 days on a bit of a bender with some old schoolmates. So coming back to here is a bit of a surprise. I'm just in Castlereagh Nature Reserve, just killing time. Got here early to beat the traffic, and I just thought I'd come in. Made a few videos in here. It's a beautiful place. Great place to do some botanising, and out here near Cranebrook, whether you're in Castlereagh or Waiata nature reserves, or if you go out to Agnes Banks further northwest, there's a whole heap of threatened flora. And I do have this PowerPoint sort of lecture online, which a lot of people like for the Western Sydney threatened flora. So maybe I can just cover them individually as I go along, and just put some individual profiles up for them. There's a few familiar things here I've made videos on just for a bit of interest. This is Acacia elongata, which I made at Lucas Heights, and it's in pod now. So I only made the video on it, I think, about a month ago. And it's not a very swampy habitat here. This is what we call Cooks River Castlereagh Ironbark Forest. Beautiful eucalyptus fibrosas a lot of the time, though you might get some cribra as well and things like Eucalyptus longifolia. But that's Acacia elongata with the pods coming on. But what I thought I'd make a video on is just this really prominent but threatened taxon out here. And this is Dillwynia tenuifolia. It's probably past its flowering time. There's a lot of spent flowers on it. But it's one of these species that can flower sometimes you see it in flower outside of spring, but it's definitely had a huge flowering time just in the last month or so. This is a shrub to about, I don't know, a lot of the time 1 metre, maybe something like 1.3 metres. Doesn't tend to get a lot bigger than that. And its main stomping ground is here in Western Sydney. There's a lot of records in this area. It does go up towards sort of Wiseman's Ferry, and it does go up towards Richmond and up the Blue Mountains a bit, I think, towards Lithgow. And then there's a few disjunct patches further north, I think in the sort of Howes Valley area. That might be sort of Wallamai National Park or maybe Yengo. And I think it stops around the Broke area somewhere up in the Hunter Valley. And there are some records in Sydney Olympic Park. I don't know if they're still there. And I'm pretty sure there were some records in Rookwood Cemetery as well, which isn't too far away. That's probably the furthest east you're going to get it. And I think in terms of south, maybe around Lake Burragarang or somewhere like that is where it sort of peters out. So it doesn't have a very big range, and I think there's a few cases of people getting records outside that general area, but they don't seem to have been duplicated or expanded on. Someone's got a record around Berrima or Belanglo State Forest there somewhere, but I don't know if that's been duplicated or expanded on or not. But that's the main range for it. It's a pea, obviously. Beautiful pea flowers. If you're not familiar with Dillwynias, when you see a pea flower like that, and it's sort of much wider than it is tall, the one at the back there, just see my video on Gonphalabium if you don't know what I mean there. But that's standard petal at the back where my thumb is, with the red marking trying to attract a bee. In Dillwynia, it's a lot broader than it is tall. That's a bit of a lazy default, but it's pretty good for the Sydney peas. Just a really broad standard and not as tall, just a lot fatter. The other thing about Dillwynias, and I'm not saying this will be an easy one to demonstrate with at all, but the other thing about Dillwynias is they've got this cool feature in some species where the leaves are twisted. And I don't think I'm going to be able to demonstrate this, but if you just run a hand lens over the leaves, if you think you've got a Dillwynia which isn't in flower, the leaves can twist as they go from bottom to top. So they can be sort of spiral, or they do like a 180 degree sort of bend or twist as they go up from the top to the bottom. I don't know if tenuifolia does that, but there's certainly a fair few Dillwynias that do it, and it's a really cool feature to look at. Ones like trichopoda, ones like Sericea, I think. I'm trying to think of some other ones just off the top of my head. Rudis, Dillwynia rudis, tends to do the spiraling as well. So they've just got these, and Floribunda, that's another one. They'll do the spiral, but tenuifolia might be one of the ones that doesn't. There might be a little bit of spiraling just going on in that one there on the right, but just look for that with Dillwynias. It's a cool feature. This guy's got really narrow leaves, and that's probably what tenuifolia refers to, just the really narrow foliage. I think the leaves can be up to about 12 mil long. Narrow foliage, and you might have to get the flowers on it the first time to just realise it for what it is. In order to, yes, I guess learn it and identify it. I'm trying to have a think about what the foliage resembles, which might be out here. I mean, you might think it's a myrtaceae to start with, just maybe something like, I don't know, a Beckia, or it's got a bit of a diosma look to it as well, a bit myrtaceae-like. The peas can have stipules, remember. In Dillwynia, they can be present, but sometimes they're minute or absent. So you might find some stipules there. Remember, if you think you got a pea, just always have a look for the stipules at the base of the leaves. I haven't got my hand lens here on me, but never checked if there's any on Dillwynia tenuifolia. But remember, look for the spiral leaves, and then maybe see if you can see any stipules. Might give you a clue as to what family it's in. And then you get these pea flowers in groups of 2 or 3 a lot of the time where they're produced. They'll just be in these, I guess we'll just call them clusters or groups of 2 and 3. Nice broad standard petal. You can see the 2 wings coming out. And then you got the keel there at the bottom, which is holding all the sexual parts. You got a calyx as well. You can see the calyx mid-green there, or light green, just holding that flower. So this is just a bit of a repeating pea feature that we get a lot of the time. Just remember, some of the peas will have bracts and bracteoles on the calyx, and that's sort of what defines a lot of different genera like Pultonea and some other ones as well. It's all about what's happening on that calyx in terms of little bracts and bracteoles. And Pultonea can be a bit of a head spin because they talk about bracts, bracteoles and little leaflets on the calyx as well. It really gets tricky. But you can see a nice lobed calyx there at the bottom holding that pea flower. So it's a really common shrub out in this part of the world. If you did want to get familiar with it, Castlereagh Nature Reserve is what I'd recommend. Or possibly Waiata, which is, a 5-minute drive away from here. Just up the northern road from Penrith, you got to get to Cranebrook. And here at Castlereagh, I think the suburb's Llandilo. But they're all through here. There's just so many of them, just one after the other. I'm just looking for pods. The pod is a small fruit in Dillwynia. They're not overly large. I'm just going to look at what's going on here. Yeah, these are probably the pods developing, just starting to develop. They're not overly large in Dillwynia. It's not like you're going to get a massive pea pod. You're just going to get a really small pod. And they're just starting to develop late October now, just here on the terminals of the little branches, yeah. So a little bit of pod development. I don't think they're flower bud. Oh, that might be a flower bud, actually. Yeah, they might be flower buds which still haven't opened. Possibly, they might be spent flowers. This is where you want to know a plant and observe all its sort of transitional sequencing. But yeah, I think most of them are spent flowers coming into, just starting to go into the pod stage, assuming they've been fertilised. So that's a beautiful Dillwynia. They should have alternate leaves. They're not really known for having opposite leaves, though here they're really clustered. But they're known for sort of having, most of the peas will have alternate leaves, but you're going to have to separate every leaf out and go down the stem. But you do get peas with opposite leaves. It's a very diverse group, but alternate is usually the case in most of them. Yeah, that pod is 4 to 5 mil long, so that's a very short pod for some peas, I would argue. Yeah, 4 to 5 mil. Not going to be overly long there. So that's probably enough for that guy. It's in my, like I said, it's in my Threatened Flora of Western Sydney presentation. It's not one I've done any work on. I haven't done any saving our species work on this one. Out here it's pretty well conserved, but it does have a very limited range. But there's definitely, there'd be thousands of them out here at the moment. And they've all had a good flowering season, so it'd be a lot of resource for native bees. And probably European honeybees as well. They like to get into these peas too. We do worry about that in ecology sometimes in Australia, because they're sort of not evolved for our pea flowers, and they can, sometimes you see them trying to get into the back of the flower, the European honeybees, rather than front on. But in terms of cultivation, I don't know if people grow it. It would be a nice one to grow. Some of these peas are a bit temperamental in the garden, but this would be a nice one to grow. It's a threatened species, probably hasn't had much cultivation done to it. But it just, this one here is only probably 1.2 high, and there's possibly about 500 flowers on it. It's beautiful. Alrighty, so that's a bit of an intro into Dillwynia. I'll see what else I can get while I'm around here. There's some really interesting plants like Dillwynia ulicifolia, another pea that's finished flowering. There's also cycads here in the ground layer, like Macrozemia spiralis. That's all scattered through here as well. So it's a really cool mix of plants on really flat terrain. You can easily, even if you're a bit mobility impaired and you don't like rigorous bushwalks, you can come out here and just walk along nice flat country on what we call sort of alluvial gravel deposits on the Cumberland Plain. I'll just get out to the main track. You just got these really beautiful flat landscapes which you can walk for several kilometres, just sort of undulating gently. Alrighty,